What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about an unannounced update that got teased, some changes coming before Season 4, plus even more. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and also let me know down below in the comment section, what are you guys hoping to see the most in our 4th season of Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 updates? That's all scheduled to begin on June the 14th. I'll keep you guys posted if any delays do happen, according to the in-game Battle Pass timer. But as of right now, we have a triple XP event that's about to begin from May 26th, 10 a.m. Pacific, which is going to end on May 30th, 10 a.m. Pacific, again offering double weapon XP, regular double XP, and double Battle Pass token tier skips. Take advantage of that if you guys haven't hit max rank yet, still want to level up some brand new DLC weapons, or haven't finished your Season 3 Battle Pass. Also, as a big reminder, you can use code Dynamite to save money off of any Sly order. The link is down below. Sly is the drink of the future, offering a healthy alternative to energized or caffeinated drinks after a long gaming or content creating session. With more flavors to be released later, the current chill flavor is meant to relax you and won't get your heart racing, so your family won't be yelling at you for being unhealthy if you drink a case of Sly while gaming with the boys all weekend. There will also be exclusive periods of time that I'll announce where code Dynamite BOGO can be used to buy one, get one 50% off. But if you are on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, there's also an exclusive double XP period happening right now for the next 24 hours. It'll be ending tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific when the triple XP event does begin. Now, something that kind of slipped under the radar as of recently is in regards to some marketing that we got for Season 3 Reloaded, which actually hints at something that hasn't really been talked about all that much by the studio. And these are the pictures of the Tim the Tatman and Nick Merc bundles, both of which are scheduled to release on May 31st. I talked about these bundles already in a previous video, but if you look at the background of both these images, you could see obviously a Sandstorm in Al Mazrah that is live in both Battle Royale and DMZ, but then a broken down gas station behind the Tim the Tatman picture, and then some other weird irregularities in the Nick Merc's picture as well. And that does signal that these are map changes coming that have yet to really be announced. Obviously, we have the Sandstorm already live, but those haven't really impacted certain points of interest yet to where things are drastically different. Now, these are definitely things that got overlooked, at least in my opinion, when the marketing released for our mid-season 3 update, but this could be hinting at something big that might be dropping on May 31st. Maybe, and just maybe, the reason why these map changes were featured with images of these new bundles coming is because on May 31st, not only are we getting a playlist update or some type of changes around the game, some patch notes, these 2 new operator bundles, but we could be getting some early map changes that might have been saved for Season 4, but for whatever reason are going to be dropping earlier on May 31st instead. Just a theory as of right now. Maybe these images are just hinting at what we're going to be seeing to Al Mazrah in Season 4, and for whatever reason, they used pictures of these map changes early through these operator promos, unless there was an original plan to release Tim the Tatman and Nick Mercs as celebrity bundles in Season 4, but for whatever reason, they're releasing early because they have a different crossover in mind for our 4th season. Leave all your best bets and theories down below in the comments, but I think something to point out is that so far with every season of Warzone 2.0, there's been quite a number of healthy quality of life changes added to the game. Obviously, we have a couple of playable maps in Battle Royale and Resurgence with more on the way, but when it comes to actual point of interest updates and drastic map changes, we haven't gotten too many in either Al Mazrah or Ashika Island, so I think it's time we finally start seeing that. And I think the focus of Season 4 for Warzone 2 specifically won't really be on a bunch of quality of life mechanic changes or movement updates, but stuff that's more catered towards the map itself, which I think is desperately needed, especially before we end up getting a new Warzone map at some point in Season 4, which is apparently codenamed Vandal. That'll be for Resurgence though. Now, I do believe the Sandstorms have been received fairly well enough to warrant keeping them in the game. I'm really surprised at the reception of them over in Battle Royale. Not many folks seem frustrated with the Sandstorms. If anything, it changes up the dynamic and could really offer some really cool gameplay opportunities that we didn't have prior on Al Mazrah. And for DMZ, it's even cooler, right? It just fits the whole vibe of how DMZ is a pretty difficult extraction shooter, right? It's free to play. It's supposed to be catered towards anybody because obviously there's crossplay and it's through the Warzone 2 app, not Modern Warfare 2, but it still offers its challenges. And I think the Sandstorm definitely spices things up even more, which I'm totally a fan of, even if you guys aren't. Now, obviously, just bringing this up for fun because I am a fanboy of Call of Duty Ghost. It does kind of remind me of Octane a little bit, that launch multiplayer map from 2013. As we start seeing the Sandstorm move in, destroy gas stations, I'm just getting heavy vibes from COD Ghost. I'm not saying Octane is returning, although that would be pretty cool to see as a bit of a throwback to COD Ghost, which is a game that Infinity Ward also fully developed many years ago. I'm still hoping to see some maps from COD Ghost that played well, at least in my opinion, come back on the new Modern Warfare engine. Obviously, it was confirmed, as I talked about in a previous video, that a classic map is returning likely in Season 4, and CDO Pros already tested the map so that it does release in a bit of a smooth condition. I don't think it's going to be Terminal, High Rise, or Favela. I mean, totally possible, but at this point, you could throw your best bet on what that map could be down below in this video's comments. But maybe Season 4 of Warzone 2 will not only be offering some point of interest updates, whether it's changing up some of the existing areas in Al Mazrah, but also adding in more dynamic weather. So maybe there'll be other forms of weather added through RNG that's not just Sandstorms. So when you spawn into a match, you have a chance of playing regular Al Mazrah, or a version with a sandstorm, or a version with rain, a version that takes place during the sunset. That's a possibility. And if you partner that with the leak that also just surfaced recently that we're getting a night version of Al Mazrah soon, that has me thinking that we're not only going to be getting some really spicy updates for DMZ Al Mazrah players who might want to see things changed up a bit, but it's also going to change up how Battle Royale is even played, even if some of these weather changes or time of day changes are going to be through an LTM, or will they be through the form of RNG in any random match you play of Warzone Al Mazrah. I do think it's a bit of a shame though that it took a couple of seasons to kind of get Warzone 2 on track to where Warzone 1 left off at the end of Vanguard cycle in terms of the quality of life updates, the cool new features, the mechanics. It took a while to get back to that point, hence why it might have taken even longer to finally see some really cool and interesting dynamic changes to our base Warzone map, Al Mazrah. I think if anything, if Warzone 2 would have launched in the state that Warzone 1 left off in terms of having all those features and mechanics and ideas live day one, then we could have seen maybe as early as Season 1 Reloaded some cool changes to Al Mazrah, such as point of interest changes, or weather updates, or some big expansions by early Season 2, but it's a shame it took this long, and it's the fact that Modern Warfare 2 is likely a 5-season game that kind of has me a bit disappointed that we didn't really get anything too crazy added to Al Mazrah, but better late than never, right? We're still going to see some really cool things happen, at least before the end of the 5th season, which is better than nothing. And then hopefully by the time Lost Almost releases with Season 1 of Modern Warfare 3, Warzone 2 is in a much better state, and then right off the rip, we start seeing some crazy expansions to that map right away with every new major update after that, and they aren't playing catch-up with every update after that, adding in things that we had 3 years in a row from Warzone 1. There's something else I wanted to bring up, which is kind of a discussion that could be saved for a separate Season 4 video, but I'm just going to include it here anyway. We have Building 21 and Koschei Complex, two awesome spaces within DMZ, and I'm okay with DMZ having exclusive spaces that we don't end up seeing in regular Warzone or regular multiplayer, but if there is any point coming up with the end of Modern Warfare 2 cycle where they just need some filler content to add in, either in between major content updates, or they need something spicy to add to a roadmap, or something at the start of a new season, or even a mid-season, then I'm totally cool with them taking parts of Koschei Complex, whether it's the power plant in the middle in NVG form, or even one of the floors of Building 21, turning it into a face-off gunfight map. That would be great. Or even taking another portion of either of those two DMZ maps and making them full-fledged 6v6 maps. I'd be totally cool with that. Ground War wouldn't work, but I think 6v6 or even 2v2 would certainly work on some of those areas, and that's going to be an example of something that I know I've talked about before in the recent podcast, but taking existing spaces in the game that really aren't utilized elsewhere and giving them a higher purpose and changing up things a little bit. I mean, even look at how Museum is changed a little bit for the sake of gunfight. Take an area from Building 21 or Koschei Complex and spice it up, even if it's for a smaller scale multiplayer experience. I would totally be down for that, which to me is a better route to go, instead of just taking existing points of interest from Al Mazrah that we've been playing for many months and using those for new Ground War maps, 6v6 maps. That gets people a little frustrated when it's like the same area that we've had for a while, whereas Building 21 and Koschei Complex are very exclusive to DMZ and aren't played by nearly as many people as Battle Royale folks or multiplayer, so seeing those areas in a different mode would probably resonate even better and would kind of fix the argument of, oh, reused assets and reused environments, it's stale, it's bland, you know, no original ideas. It's like, well, not everybody out there plays Building 21, and if you do play Building 21, it's only on weekends, right? And then with Koschei Complex, that's a relatively newer map that also is still being learned by a majority of the DMZ community, and you don't see those environments anywhere else. You don't see them in campaign, you don't see them in multiplayer, or even Battle Royale, which most people are playing, so I wouldn't mind seeing those areas reused a little bit to spice up some of the other modes in the game that require a little bit more content or could use a little bit more content. I mean, hell, even give Spec Ops some more content, for example. As we talked about in some content yesterday, we don't get much love in Spec Ops, aside from the raids, which I do enjoy a lot, but in terms of individual small Spec Ops missions, give us a Spec Ops mission that takes place in Koschei Complex, or one on Building 21. It reuses the same environment, but you can still come up with some cool tactical objectives that could form a nice Spec Ops experience. So that's a good idea right there for those that want to see more content in the game. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. It's been pretty quiet in the COD scene for the last week and a half, but I promise things are going to be spicing up. I have a bundle review coming up for you guys tomorrow, a big Season 4 video plan recapping everything we know so far, and some other cool content that you guys didn't expect. And with that, before we know it, we have a brand new season of content just around the corner. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments about what kind of got swept under the rug a little bit or kind of just slipped under the radar when it comes to these point of interest updates and Al Mazrah, and also what are your thoughts on the possibility of seeing other DMZ maps turned into some multiplayer or even Spec Ops experiences. Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.